everyone, today we're back with another Scratch tutorial. So before we get into today's lesson, we're going to revise on what we did last time. So last time we learned how to make the character move left and right, and we learnt the coordinate position. So let me show you which project we're going to make today. If the basket catches the ball, the score will increase by 1. But if the basket catches the bomb, the score will decrease by 2. Let's see how it works. So if it will catch the ball and it will increase by 1. If it catches a bomb, it decreases by 2. So that's how the game works. So let's start making it. Okay, so now we've loaded into the Scratch editor. We're going to choose a backdrop first. And I think World 1 is going to be a good backdrop. Now we're going to delete the cat because we don't need it. And we're going to make the basket. So we're going to go to choose a sprite and instead we're going to go to paint. So it will make us go to costumes and we're going to draw the basket. So I'm going to show you how to draw the basket. So we go to this straight line here and it will basically draw us a straight line. So now we're going to create a new sprite. So we're going to need 2 balls. So one ball is for the actual ball that will fall down, and the other ball will customize it to make it a bomb. And now we're going to need one more thing. I'll explain its use later. So these are our sprites. So in each sprite you write different code. So you just need to click on them to switch. And you'll know which sprite you are in because it will say up here. And it will show the picture of the sprite. So just to make it more clear what the sprites do, I'm going to change its name. And this will be the floor. So let's position the floor first so it doesn't get confusing. So you switch to this. If you don't want to paint, you can just edit how it looks, like this. And just drag it down to the bottom. Now you can stretch it, fill up the whole space. Okay, so now you've stretched it. I'm going to erase this thing so this doesn't confuse you. This thing is not needed. So now we've made the floor. So we're going to go to the basket, as we want to do the code for the basket first. And we'll start making the code. So we made the code last time when you made the character move left and right. So we drag in the same code, but we're going to change it a bit. This thing is perfect over here, but we want to change the X and the Y position so that the basket is down here. So we're going to drag the basket and see which position is good. So you can drag it and see the position. I think negative positive 80 and negative 140 will be okay. Yep, that's okay. So now we made the code for the basket. Let's see if it works. So it moves left and right. And yeah, it's okay. So now we're going to click the ball over here and we'll start making the code for that. So we're going to go to events and drag out the when green flag clicked button as usual. Now we're going to go to motion and drag out the go to X and Y, but we want the ball to fall from the top of the screen. So we're going to make the Y 140, which is about the top of the screen. And we want it to pick a random position along the X line. So what we're going to do is go to operators, and it'll say this block called pick random 1 to 10. You can put it inside here and change it to negative 200 to positive 200. That's about the width of the screen. So we want to make the ball a bit bigger. So we go to looks, and you'll see the set size to 100%. We change 100% to make it 125%, so it's 1/4 larger than its usual size. So now we go to control and drag up a forever loop. Now we're going to go to motion, and we're going to drag up the change Y by 10. But we're going to change it to negative 10. So that means it will pick a random position along this X position, and it will keep falling, falling, falling forever. Let's see. But if the basket catches it, we want to make a code for that. So we go to control and drag out an if loop. So now we go to sensing. This will monitor the conditions. So if touching, then we change this to basket. So if the ball is touching the basket, so we have to position the basket so it will fall into it, we're just going to reset its position. So again we go to motion and drag out the go to, and then we go to operators, and then go, pick random 1 to 10, change that to negative 200 to positive 200, and to Y 140. So it resets its position. So if the basket misses the ball and it falls down, then we want it to reset its position. So now we go to control and drag out another if loop. So now we're going to drag out to go to sensing, and we're going to drag out if touching edge. If you don't know what that means, edge is not a sprite we have right now, but the edge is this part. So it's mainly employed in this edge because if the basket misses the ball and it keeps falling, it will touch this edge and then we're going to reset its position again. So we go to motion and reset its position again. So we drag out the same block and go to X and Y and then go to operators. Then go to pick random 1 to 10, drag that in the X position and change that to -200 to +200 and change that to 140. So let's test it out. If it's touching basket, it's going to go back to the top. But let's see if it's touching edge, then it's going to go back to the top. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to store this code in the backpack. Then we'll switch to the bomb. Let's start designing the bomb. So we're going to go to costumes. And you'll see ball A right here. Now we can go to fill. Okay everyone, so now I've drew the bomb. We're going to write the code. So we go to the code section. And here we are. So we're going to, as I put this in the backpack last time, we're going to drag it back out. And there it is. So what we're going to do is change -10 to -8 because we want to make it a bit easier. As the bomb, if the bomb hits the basket, it decreases the score by 2. So we're going to make it a bit slower. So now we're going to change if touching edge to if touching floor because for some reason I just tried if touching edge for the bomb and it just spun out of control. I don't know what happened, but if the bomb misses the ball, it'll fall into the floor, which is right under the basket, and that will just reset its position. So let's see what happens. Okay, running. So it resets its position. So now we want a bit of sound in our game, as when I showed you the first time, it played some sounds when I got the ball and it hit the bomb. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to sound and you'll see the start sound button and drag it here. So now let's see what happens. If it's touching basket, you'll hear the sound, it'll play sound pop. But we want to make a sound for if the ball touches the basket because that doesn't play any sound. So what we're going to do is switch the ball and click it and we can see the ball up here. So if it's touching the basket, we're going to drag out start sound pop. But instead of pop, we're going to change it to something else. So we go to sounds up here, and you can hear the sounds here by running it. So we're going to go to choose a sound, and then you'll see loads of sounds. There we go. But I really like a specific sound that's collect, and you can click it and see how it sounds like. So we click play here. It sounds really nice. So now we go to code, and now you change pop to collect. Now let's see what happens. We'll hear a collect. Yep, it works. So the last thing we need to do is make a score variable. So we go to basket and then we go to variables. Variables as when you assign a value to something else. So we click on make a variable for sprites and we call it score. We assign score to a number. For example, we score it to 7. So we press OK. So when the game starts, we're going to set score to 0. So the reason why is, for example, if someone's playing this game and they've got, for example, their score is 20 and then they stop the game and they start it again, the score will still remain 20. But whenever we want to start a new round, we change it back to 0. And we're going to go to ball now. So if touching basket, we want to change score by 1. And instead of my variable, you click this triangle button and change it to score. So increase the score by 1. But if the bomb hits the basket, we want to decrease the score by 2. So we click on the bomb and then we drag out change score by 1. Except we don't want it to be 1, we want to make it -2. We want to make it -2. So for example, if it hits the bomb, it goes -2. But if it hits the ball, it changes by 1. So that's it for the code. If you're wondering why I didn't write any code for floor, it's just that it's not needed. It's only for when the bomb hits the floor, it will reset its position. So yeah, that's really it for this tutorial. But I want to show you one more thing we can do. So we can change its name. We can change it to catch the ball. Dodge the bomb. And you can see the project page over here. And you can share it by clicking share here. You can tell people how to play. You can give any notes or credits, but we don't really have any right now. You can turn commenting on. They can heart your project, star your projects. And some reason you can star and heart your own projects, but I don't know why. So now you can go to see inside. And one last thing I want to tell you is that make sure to save your project so your progress doesn't get lost. It will usually show up here, but for some reason it's not showing it for me right now. I think I've just saved it already, so yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you for watching and bye!